One point I would like to make is that in an hour and a half, an hour and 15 minutes, we can only really scratch the surface. And so, as we scratch the surface, I'm sure there are many questions that will come about. I'm with you for the next 3 days. So if you want to discuss these issues further, please, I'm very open to doing so. But as I say, we will only scratch the surface in an hour. Now we speak about the soul, and we speak about the sentient soul, the intellectual soul, and the consciousness soul. So let's get an idea of what this actually means. Through the act of perception and action. Speak of the sentient soul, we speak of perception and action. Let me give you a really silly example. When my horse is itchy, he scratches. When he's hungry, he eats. There is nothing in between. He doesn't think about how or put aside the nicer hay for afterwards. You know, he just eats. So we have a perception or a sensation, and we act on that sensation. That's the basic level of the soul, no? And this was in the period, we developed these things in the Egyptian period of civilization. A sensation and an action, but not so much elaborated. Now the Greco-Roman period is where the perception was broken, in a sense, into an elaboration. We would take the world into us, we would elaborate what was going on, and then we would respond. And so in this respect, you could say the thing in me. This was kind of the tenor of the Greco-Roman period. And look at the philosophy, law, economics, how we evolved the world as we perceived it in us and responded from within ourselves. But now we have to think, well, what does it mean now, the consciousness soul? Is there a difference here? And in fact, yes. When we perceive, what we do is we are trying to come to the nature of the thing in itself. Now I am trying, through my biodynamic practices, is to come to know the nature of the plant or the animal. No? I'm no longer elaborating, as the scientists have done and continue to do, the world in them, and then come out with a lot of fantasy at the end of the day, you know. What I'm trying to do, through my developing a certain sensibility, is to come to know the nature of things in themselves, so that I become able to work with them. And this is the point of the consciousness soul. I can doubt if we need to do so, but let's say we argue with our partner, no? And sooner or later, one of us will consider, well, why was my partner upset or nervous or responded to me in this way? Already I'm coming out of myself, trying to understand something outside of me. Now, we were not able to do this before. It is only really in this recent period that we have been able to come out of ourselves to come to know the nature of things. So this is where we stand today. It is something in us that needs to live this way. Now, when somebody, and often most of you have had the problem, when somebody asks you, what is biodynamics? How do you respond? It is so complex, so universal, no? But this, in effect, biodynamics, what is it? It is a mirror of what's going on in us. It's not an invention of philosophy or theory. It is a mirror of what lives in us and the way we need to develop our relationship with the world. This is biodynamics. No? A mirror of what lives in us today as the consciousness soul. I hope I've been able to be clear.